The air was heavy with whispers, laughter, and the clinking of glasses when she walked in. Heads turned instantly, some out of curiosity, others out of shock. The grand hall, decorated with white roses and shimmering lights, suddenly felt like a stage, and every eye was fixed on her. She wasn't supposed to be there. At least, not in the way she came. Not with that poise, that aura, that breathtaking glow that made even the bride look pale in comparison. She had been invited to be mocked, to be humiliated, to stand in the corner like a relic of his past while he flaunted his upgrade. But instead, she arrived like a queen, and in that moment, the entire room forgot about the wedding and remembered her. Sparkles, before we dive into this story, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of rising from heartbreak with dignity, then please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Kindness Tales, and share it with someone who needs a reminder of their own strength. And don't forget to leave a comment. We love hearing your thoughts. Sparkles. Her name was Clara. She hadn't always been this composed, radiant woman who could silence a room simply by walking into it. Just a few years ago, she had been a shadow of herself, married to a man who made her feel invisible. His name was Michael. On the outside, Michael was charming, ambitious, and confident, the kind of man who turned heads at parties. But behind closed doors, he belittled Clara's dreams, mocked her insecurities, and slowly chipped away at the vibrant spirit she once had. He never raised his hand, but words can bruise deeper than fists. He would say things like, "You'll never achieve anything without me," or, "You should be grateful I married you." Clara stayed, hoping love would soften him, hoping the man she first fell for would return. But years went by, and instead of love, he gave her contempt. The breaking point came one rainy evening. Clara had just shared news that she wanted to start her own small business, something modest but meaningful. She had been saving for months, sketching ideas, and nurturing the courage to finally tell him. Instead of support, Michael laughed so hard that tears ran down his face. He told her she was delusional, that she would embarrass herself, that women like her belonged in the background. That night, Clara realized the truth. She wasn't his partner, she was his possession. And she didn't want to live like that anymore. The divorce was messy. Michael painted himself as the victim, spreading rumors about her to their mutual friends. Many drifted away, convinced that Clara was the problem. She moved into a tiny apartment with nothing but a suitcase, a few books, and her determination to start over. Those first months were the hardest. There were nights when loneliness crept into her bones, nights when she doubted if she had made the right choice. But every morning she reminded herself of one thing. Freedom was better than chains, even if it meant walking alone. Slowly, Clara began to rebuild. She took on small freelance projects, worked late into the night, and poured her heart into learning. She studied marketing, branding, and business strategies, teaching herself from scratch. She launched her small business, an online boutique for handmade accessories, and though it was shaky at first, she persisted. There were days when only a single order came in, but she treated each one like a victory. She packaged everything by hand, wrote thank you notes, and stayed humble. Word spread. Customers began recommending her store to friends, and soon, her boutique became more than just a side hustle, it became her livelihood. But Clara didn't just grow financially. She grew emotionally, too. She joined a local women's support group, surrounded herself with kind souls who had walked through their own storms, and slowly rediscovered her worth. For the first time in years, she smiled without forcing it. She learned to love her solitude, her independence, and most importantly, herself. Then came the wedding invitation. It arrived in a sleek white envelope with golden trim, her name written in Michael's unmistakable handwriting. Clara almost laughed when she read it. He wasn't inviting her out of kindness or closure, he wanted to parade his new life in front of her. His fiancée, a woman younger and wealthier, was someone he bragged about openly online. Clara knew the invite was his way of saying, "Look what you lost. Look what I gained. For a moment, she considered tearing it apart and forgetting it ever arrived. But something inside her shifted. She realized this was not just about Michael, it was about her. She wasn't the same broken woman who walked away from him years ago. She had rebuilt herself piece by piece, and maybe this was the universe's way of showing her how far she had come. So, she decided she would go. Not to beg, not to compare, not to prove anything to him, but to honor her own journey. The night of the wedding came, and the hall glittered with chandeliers and silk drapes. Guests in fine suits and gowns sipped champagne, whispering about the bride's diamond necklace, about Michael's success, about the perfect image they thought they saw. Then, Clara arrived. She stepped out of a sleek black car wearing an emerald green gown that shimmered under the lights, her hair swept elegantly, her makeup glowing with understated grace. She wasn't flashy, but she radiated confidence, the kind that comes from surviving fire and walking out stronger. The whispers started immediately. Is that Michael's ex-wife? She looks incredible. I didn't expect her to come. Even those who had once believed Michael's lies now saw something different. Clara wasn't broken. She was luminous. When Michael saw her, his smirk faltered. He had expected her to come small, defeated, maybe even envious. Instead, she carried herself like royalty, her presence outshining everything he had tried to flaunt. For the first time, he realized he hadn't broken her, he had simply freed her to become who she was always meant to be. And that realization burned. Throughout the night, Clara didn't say much. She greeted people politely, congratulated the couple with genuine composure, and spent most of the evening smiling softly, as though she was at peace. But her silence spoke louder than words. It told a story of resilience, of dignity, of quiet strength. And though she never intended to, she became the star of the evening, not because she tried to overshadow anyone, but because true confidence cannot be dimmed. Michael, on the other hand, couldn't hide his discomfort. His attempts at boasting felt hollow, his laughter too loud, his charm forced. People noticed. They compared without meaning to. And no matter how hard he tried, the image of Clara, glowing, unbothered, untouchable, lingered in every corner of that hall. By the end of the night, Clara left without fanfare. She didn't need revenge, she didn't need applause. She had already won the moment she chose to rise instead of crumble. As she stepped into the cool night air, she felt a calmness in her chest, a sense of closure she hadn't known she needed. Her story became a quiet legend among the guests. People spoke of how gracefully she carried herself, how she turned a cruel invitation into a showcase of strength. And though she never sought validation, she inspired many, especially women who had once been told they were not enough. Clara's life after that night only grew brighter. Her business expanded, she traveled to places she once only dreamed of, and she lived freely, with no shadow of the past weighing her down. She didn't measure her success by wealth or relationships but by the peace she carried in her heart. And somewhere, deep down, Michael knew he had lost something far greater than he had gained. Not because Clara outshined his new bride, but because he realized too late what true beauty, strength, and love looked like. And it wasn't in the glitter of diamonds or the facade of perfection, it was in the quiet power of a woman who had been broken but rebuilt herself into something unshakable. Sparkles, if this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Kindness Tales. Your support helps us continue to bring you inspiring stories that remind us of the resilience of the human spirit. Sparkles. Speech balloon. Before you go, tell us in the comments, have you ever had a moment where you turned pain into power, just like Clara did? We'd love to read your stories. Because sometimes, the sweetest revenge is not revenge at all, it's living beautifully, living freely, and arriving like a queen when the world expects you to fall.